Bom dia, tudo bem? It's Matt from Trivium. Today I'm going to talk to Oliver Christian, absolutely incredible guitar player. We talk about all sorts of stuff that you can see quickly. My mind is very much so blown because he is a perfectionist, a master of this style that I really want to jump into. It was amazing, amazing chat. I learned a lot. I think you're going to learn a lot as well. Check it out. Awesome, man. Well, great to meet you. Thank you so much for taking the time. Where are you calling from today? What city or where are you at if you don't mind disclosing? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'm in Maceió. It's a city. It's more from northeast from Brazil.
Awesome.
It's quite far from São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah.
That is the most known cities in Brazil. It's like 2,000 kilometers of far. It's not well known, but yeah, I'm from Maceió.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's it.
Awesome.
It's not a small city. We have, for Brazilian terms, it's a smallest capital we have here. So, yeah, it's quite a cool city. We have beaches, and we have, cool summer, and no, we don't have winter here. That's it.
That's awesome, man. I should have said bom dia, e aí, then. I could do just a couple words. I love Brazil so much. I absolutely love it. I remember the first time I was there, I was so blown away. I was like, I love it so much. I need to do what Brazilians do. And I was asking around. Everyone's like, you play soccer or you do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I got into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I went home, and some fans bought me a cookbook. I went home and made feijoada and caipirinhas as soon as I got home because I loved it so much. Loved everything about it. So I miss it.
Yeah. It's quite interesting because it's every Brazilian kid, he, boy or girl, goes for, choosing a sport, it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or football. It was my case because before starting, playing guitar, I wanted to be a soccer player. Yeah, so I attend to some football teams. I wish to, be a famous soccer player, but I couldn't because I wasn't quite good enough to complete my desire, and I also break my foot for the fourth time.
Oh man.
Yeah, playing. It's a contact sport. And because of that, I had to stop playing football. So because of that, in my school vacations, I discovered guitar and I started learning guitar. Because of that. It wasn't quite planned, but I started from football and then I went to guitar. So,
man, that's awesome. Fun. That's awesome that switch. Yeah, because I mean, seeing how you play already, like I feel like in life you're either that kind of guitar player or that kind of football player. Like it's too difficult to do both, in my opinion, to do what you do.
Yeah, it's quite difficult because you have to give a lot of yourself to be good at one of these things. So I'm glad, because I went to guitar. It's an instrument I like a lot. So it was, at the beginning I went sad because I wished to keep playing football, but now I see it was the best choice.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Well, speaking of guitar playing, I'm familiar with your playing. Your playing is incredible. A lot of the viewers are. But if you're up for it, would you mind playing a little something that you love to play? Show everybody something you like to do real quick, and then we can get back to chatting?
Yeah. We have time for this one?
Yeah,
it's a small piece. I don't know. I can. Let me see here.
That sounds great.
I have a backing track here. I don't know if.
Yeah, if you don't mind, that'd be amazing, man. Yeah, please, thank you.
So I'm gonna play. I hope correctly because.
No, you smash it, man. I've seen how you play, man. You're nuts.
I have an EP, so it's called Imagine Ninho. There's the first track is Amarelo. It's my favorite song. So Amarelo, for those who. I don't know if you speak some Portuguese because many people who trains Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu also learn some words. So amarelo, for people who don't know the word, is yellow in Portuguese.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm with this guitar.
No, that's awesome. That's my color. My shoes are yellow. Like I try to have yellow in everything I do, man.
Yeah, I like a lot of this color. Let me see. Just checking the volume of
Yeah,
the
no worries.
backing track. It's great.
Yeah, sounds great. That sounds
Nice.
awesome.
Slow. Raise or raise the level.
Damn.
That's it.
Dude, that was
Thanks.
freaking amazing. Holy cow, I love that song. It felt like something I could see on
Thanks.
like Demon Slayer. I don't know if you're an anime fan or not, but it sounded like something I'd see on
Yeah,
an amazing anime intro. Yeah, it's awesome. I
Yeah.
hear some Brazil on there. I hear some
Um,
jazz in there. I hear some like maybe samba or bossa nova in there, and then metal. It was freaking fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I like to mix things, because I started from metalcore. It's one of the first styles I started composing. So I like to mix a lot of these different genres. So for this, can I explain just a
Yeah,
little
please.
bit?
Oh no, I want to know all about this. This is
We
amazing.
have time.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So yeah, because there is a lot of influences, different influences, but it's like I like to compose, things I like to hear, and also my influences. So I have three different schools because I like the guitar heroes, the guys from the 80s and 90s, the guys who came up with solo things and guitar techniques and stuff. I also had a band from metalcore, post-hardcore, this kind of genre. So I like the energy, the way the drums, fit into the music, the how the riffs are composed too, and of course there is a lot of Latin and Brazilian, song jazz and a lot of this stuff, and so it's a kind of a mix of from those things, because the interlude is, I think it's correct.
Mm-hmm.
The interlude is a very Brazilian jazz. There is some parts of bossa nova and samba too, and a lot of Heafy I took from inspiration from metalcore. Like the main riff is.
That's such a sick riff. That's such a cool riff.
Thanks. Because I try to make this kind of Frankenstein, taking influence from everywhere, and that's what I like to compose and do things. Yeah, it's similar to Japanese, anime things, because I believe the Brazilian music seems a lot to Japanese, pop songs.
Oh,
The
massively.
structure.
I always felt both cultures love both cultures so much. I've always felt the Japanese culture is
Yeah.
very influenced by the Brazilian culture and vice versa.
Yeah, it's impressive how the difference. Yeah, I think it's just the groove, but once I saw, I think what Smart Friedman explained the chord progression of the Japanese pop songs, and I realized that it's very similar to Brazilian music. Um, for example, let me change here.
Yep, no worries.
Sorry for that.
Oh, it's fine.
If I haven't talked too much,
No, dude, this is
please
what
say-
we're here to learn all about you, man.
Ah, that's okay. Let me change here just a little bit for clean sound guitar. It's great.
Yep.
So, for example, I don't know if you guys are the chat, if it's familiar with Brazilian song and Japanese song, but the structure is very similar. Took a lot of influence from jazz, So basically, the same chord progression can be used for both Japanese and Brazilian songs. There's, for example, there's a chord progression very common. So
Wow,
this kind
such
of
nice
things,
chords.
yeah, this kind of things you can hear in Japanese anime, but played like this.
Yeah.
In Brazilian, instead of doing this rockish, vibe,
That's so cool. Can
But
you explain
very-
those chords to me? Like, how come those sound so great? Like, what's happening in those chords?
yeah, it's it's in here. It's major chord. Took from the fourth. If you imagine the chord progression, there's the one root note, and the second minor, third minor, and you have the fourth chord, So this shape here, it's a major chord with the 7 major, But instead of having, the standard progression, we have this chord here, a minor. Let me move to A minor to make it easier to explain. For example, let's imagine we have the A minor chord, the sixth from the C major progression. So we have this. It's a very Latinish.
Yeah, it is. Very much so.
So what's happening, it's because Japanese and Brazilian music use a lot of dominant chords to, insert, to add more chords into the progression. It's jazzy, it's like 2-5-1. For example, I don't know if it's too abstract.
No, this is great. No, everyone in chat's excited. I'm excited. This is stuff I always want to learn, because I scored a game that was all Brazilian music. So I had to teach myself how to do bossa nova and samba by ear, not knowing what was happening. So this is very, very helpful to me.
Yeah, we have different ways to. There's a lot of different chord progressions, but the simple one. Well, let's start from what we find the most in pop songs when they want to add Latin flavor. So in a normal standard chord progression, we would have A minor, G, F, and E minor. But this E minor here, it's not strong.
Doesn't sound like it resolves, yeah.
Yeah, to reboot the chord progression. So we don't have here. It's A minor because in A minor, A nature minor, we don't have the G sharp, the note G sharp, and G sharp is the third major from the E major. So we need this G sharp to make it dominant, to go back to A minor. So your ear wants to go back to the
It's
A
funny,
minor.
whenever I make progressions that go like that, I always end up going for the major as well, and I didn't even realize it wasn't in the key. Just for some reason, I've always gravitated towards that, going that major instead of the minor there.
You can do the both,
Yeah.
Some of Brazilian songs, you can use this to change the tonality. You can go. Imagine you are doing this. You can go to A minor, A major. It works as well. You can use both. If you have a dominant chord, you can go to that tonality, and it doesn't matter if it's major or minor. It's a good way to move a tonality from one place to the other. It's that Japanese song and Brazilian songs do most of the time. For example, let's start here with C major, and then we are going to we want to use this C half diminished chord to go to A minor. Instead of there's not color enough, you always can put more colors, because C, sorry, I mean telling the names in Portuguese.
Oh, it's okay.
B is the second from A, B, and the E is the 5, is the dominant for the A. So instead of going directly, from C to A, it's quite good enough. But you can always put some more chords into it to give a jazz vibe. So,
That's so cool.
we are used 2-5-1, We start here from C, but we are going to use now the second from A, the 5 from A, and now we read from A. But we now want to go to F. We're gonna to keep the same logic. So it's a lot of chords, you put like a bridge to go from one to another. So
that's so cool. I've just always been so intrigued by these chords because I don't know how to write like this. Like this is like a style that I just don't understand, but it's so beautiful to me. Now, when you coming up with these chords, is it really just you're going by ear, you're going by theory? It's like which one, or I guess either.
Yeah, either.
Okay.
Sometimes you, for example, you have your chord progression, but you think it's too, raw. Let's say that too raw, and you want to put more chords to give this vibe, Brazilian vibe or Latin vibe. So I use the theory when I don't come up with this by ear, but many times it's by ear. I'm trying to remember if I have something. For example, this I came by ear. This chord is not from this chord progression, no? And then I come to another tonality. This kind of thing I made by ear. I'm quite used to think like that. But there is a theoretical explanation for that. For example, this is when you have the fourth chord from the progression, and you made it to minor. It's some tool that Radiohead uses a lot. When they are, I don't know the chord progression of the song, but that song "I'm a Creep" use a lot of that reducing the major, fourth major for fourth minor. We have this. You have this kind of flavor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you are getting this. It's kind of something almost abstract,
No, it's so cool.
But
I've always understood metal and why, and every single subgenre of metal, and where what should go with what. And I've been so into anime music and Brazilian music and Japanese music. I just collected, because I'm half Japanese, I collected all these old Japanese instruments. I got koto and all this stuff. So I'm trying to figure out do I want to explore it theoretically? Do I want to explore it just like a child and kind of jump in and play or whatever it is? But these chords are so awesome to me. And I've been gravitating so much towards. That's why when I found I was talking to you and I was listening to your playing, it's so pleasing and appeasing, and it's I want to be able to write like that. And it seems like you said, there's a theoretical explanation to what's happening, but you can also just play, which I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, you have to listen more. You have to exposure yourself more to it's kind of let's imagine you want to learn a language. It's the same the same idea. You have to expose yourself to this language. In this case, it's the style of music. Listen a lot, until you get used to it. The melodic stuff, the standards, how people apply chords, until this became natural for you.
Mm-hmm. What would
because
you recommend?
One thing is
of the bands or the styles of the composers.
There's a guy, he's really famous here. it's international guy. It's Djavan. It's from Maceió too. He's amazing. He came up with this chord, this complex chords. But the impressive thing is he makes everything by ear. It's like he has a book in his mind. It's
Giovanni, you
impressive
said?
because Djavan.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down.
DJ A V A N.
Okay, awesome. Thank
Djavan.
you. Awesome, thank you.
This guy is amazing. Kind of this kind of chord progression. He does everything like that. He puts every chords everywhere where you're not expecting. He goes and another chord in your face, and it's amazing. It's impressive. It's it's a very study in case of Brazilian music. There is another guy, Hermeto Pascoal.
Mm-hmm. Pasquale. I'll write that down for you.
Herm E again TO
Yep.
Pascoal. I think
Awesome.
it's like that.
Hermeto Pasquale.
Yeah. The fun fact is that I enter in this world of, because I like to use a lot of my influence, because when I started playing guitar, I started all by myself. I had no teacher at the beginning, so I started learning, from the things I found on internet, YouTube and some stuff like that, and see people playing. But I was, I needed to dive more into this world and know why this chord goes like that, why this band sounds like Data, and so I need to find a teacher. So I couldn't find a teacher, specific for rock and metal styles. So the best one I could find, he's a jazz player and Brazilian music player. So he taught me everything, theory, jazz, Brazilian standards. So at the time when I was 14, I didn't want to learn this. I want to be a rocker. I want to shred, and I started to get everything he was teaching me and try to apply into metal, into rock, into the things I would sound like. So it started like this, and so I started to realize we could use theory in rock and metal music to add some flavors, to make some things differently, So I tried to bring all this background with me.
That's so fantastic. I mean, we talk a lot about how when there's 11 notes or 12 notes include the octave, there's only so many notes. So so many progressions have existed, so many styles exist. But for someone to be able to take all these things and create something new, it's like cooking, it's like cuisine. It's like finding all the same ingredients exist everywhere. It's what combinations are going to yield something really great. And that's what's so exciting about your guitar playing, is it sounds so unique but pleasing but fun. And I love that like the Yngwie style video that you did is like next to the other like fusion stuff. I think that's so cool that you can jump around back and forth, and that's what makes it very exciting.
Thanks. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure being here, chatting with you, because I did years ago a cover of In Waves.
Oh, damn.
With my friends. Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's quite.
You gotta send that to me.
Yeah. It's I don't know how many years, but I think it was closer to the release of the album. So we went to hey, let's do a cover of that.
That's cool. I would love to hear your style doing something like In Waves, like injecting all those chords into it. That'd be really interesting.
Yeah, yeah. It would be out of the comfort zone, but it's nice because I grew up in metalcore, so I had to study the style of every band and Trivium, Keith with the Engage, Bless the Fall. I've studied Attack. I study off these guys to know what they are doing and how can I, place my style into this world of um, playing guitar. That's why I use a lot of drop tuning because I kept this with me.
That's really cool. Well, yeah, it's interesting. A jazz guitar player was actually one of my earlier mentors. I don't know if you heard of the band Martyr, Martyr. They're from Montreal.
No.
But they have this record called Warp Zone that I got into it right before making Ascendancy, and it blew my mind because he's a classically trained jazz theorist, but also like can play every Marty Friedman solo. So he's like this really interesting guitar player that can shred that got into jazz. So he showed me all this Holdsworth stuff, and he was able to like shred like Holdsworth. And he was really into drop D, and he'd make almost jazz chords with the bottom 3 chords. So that's why with Trivium, I use so many of those bottom 3 chords where they're shifting around. It's not just standard drop D, but it's like 7-7-9, 7-7-9-10. And he said that was more from jazz. And that's why Ascendancy has so many of those weird chords. So I basically took what Daniel was doing, but made it simpler and more melodic. But he said that it all came from jazz, which is kind of full circle for me.
Yeah, can I show something?
Yeah,
I don't know
please.
if I have time.
Yeah, please.
Let me change this. Go this one drop tuning. Why I use a lot of drop tuning is because I can make the arrangements more easy to play because it's easier, to I don't know if it's sounding. It's easier to play just one finger. But I also wanted to put some other extensions for it. So sometimes instead of doing like this, I go. So I use, try to mix both, the drop D tuning that, brings me a lot of energetic power and heavier things, but using the extensions from the other strings to put some melodic flavors and points to my Heafy. I think it's a little bit of a tuning. So let's see what I can explain here.
When it comes to these larger
I
chords, if someone were to play a melody over, do they have to play the notes that are within this large chord, or are there more notes they can play extended? Because I imagine when there's so many notes, you can't really add too many more cuts into the color, correct?
If it's in the same tonality, something, most of the notes would, fit well. If I do this instead of this, I'm thinking, in a tonality, the notes I choose probably would fit well. There are some avoiding notes. We learn this in jazz. To not rest this some melodic points. It's avoid to. We don't have to have this, but the cool of metal thing is, like, for example, Marty Friedman and a lot of guys does, is to use just the power chord, just the root note and then fifth without the third, because you don't know if this chord is major or minor, so you can use everything you want.
Wow, okay.
And use another modes as well. For example, if you have an A, for example, and you don't define this as major or minor, and also the extensions, this A can be minor and major at the same time, and can be, Dorian and Frisian and Aeolian. You decide when you are soloing.
That's really cool.
A cool thing, to give a lot of vibe and different moods when you are soloing playing.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Let me. I don't know. I'm trying to search in my head an example of this. But it's like, here I'm going to define more. It's A minor. But if I play like this, it could be everything I want. I want this is major, so this is major. Since I play the third major here, let me find here. Brazilian music does it a lot, use different notes from different places. For example, this groove here, I'm playing A as a root note and changing between the third major and third minor. So it's not well defined. It's where this place, is where you can add things in, make a mess, a good mess, but you can explore new sounds.
That's cool. That reminded me of the Mario, because like Mario uses so much Brazilian sounding music. That's again Japanese composer making things that sound almost Brazilian influenced.
Yeah. It's. I've noticed that there's a friendship between the cultures. Brazilians and artists from Japan that. I forgot the name of Japanese guitarist who released an album. He made a surf, guitar. I don't remember.
I'm not sure his name, but I know Brazil has the second largest community of Japanese people outside of Japan, that's why I was always so intrigued by that. Is it? I think it's
It's the first
Brazil.
one.
The first one, okay. So it's Brazil, and then I think it's somewhere in Germany after that. I think Dusseldorf area. I think. Oddly, something like that. But I think Brazil, so Brazil's the biggest outside of Japan.
Yeah, but not here, more in São Paulo. São Paulo, the influences is really...
I think it's the same thing with the martial arts too. You look at Japanese jiu-jitsu went from Japan to Brazil, became Brazilian jiu-jitsu, went back to Japan, and then Japan started kind of innovating different things and shoving it back to Brazil and back and forth.
Yeah, I don't practice jiu-jitsu, but I know a little bit of the history. That's like that. It's a kind of judo thing that Helio Gracie, converting into his style, something like that, and went back to Japan. I don't know. It's like this. It's a mess, but always communicating on culture with the other.
Exactly.
It's quite funny because we can see this in the music, You can see this in the music. It's very similar. That's why when I hear, for example, some Japanese songs, it's quite familiar for me because the chord progression. The thing that's different is just the melodic choices. Because the way that here in Brazil, mostly the singers choose the melodics, it's almost they are speaking when singing. It's something more softly. Don't have a lot of variations when singing, when the melodic line. I think that's the main difference.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah, that's really cool. It's always amazing to me when you can see how like different cultures have shifted things back and forth, and even in cuisine. Like I've always felt that I can see a Brazilian influence in the Japanese cuisine, but Japan also really likes the look of like things that are kind of French, and then they bring that in, and it is very cool. But yeah, like the biggest thing for me is like knowing the jiu-jitsu influence of how Japanese jiu-jitsu wasn't what it was. You could not spar with your friend in Japanese jiu-jitsu. It was more finishing moves. It was more like Krav Maga. It was the art that they practiced if the samurai was knocked off his horse. How do you kill your opponent with your hands? But when they brought it down to the Gracies and they turned it into something that you can train every single day with your partner and you can train and perfect, and they made it something so much better. And then I think the innovation of like, in original Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, leg attacks weren't really considered okay. They're considered dirty. It was dirty to attack the knees and the ankles. But when they brought it to Japan, Japan started perfecting the leg attacks, and they bring it back to Brazil. Brazil wasn't into it, but now Brazil's excellent with it. So it's so cool to see how things keep upgrading and shifting and changing.
Yeah, it's this thing of, yes, it's a kitchen cuisine. Where I'm from, there is a specific plate that's from the native Brazilians group that's called tapioca. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a powder. And I've discovered that it's really famous in South Asia,
Yeah, the
Indonesia.
boba balls. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But here we eat that like a pancake. We make
Really?
like a pancake,
Yeah.
really, and we put coconut and cheese, and we eat like that.
Damn, that sounds
It's
awesome.
like a pancake. Yeah,
That
it's
sounds
really,
awesome.
really good.
Yeah, because I remember when I was
Really good.
making feijoada, it was really hard to find manioca powder, which is the
Yeah.
cassava root flour or cassava root powder, I think. I think
Yeah,
that's what that was.
it's-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's made of a manioca that says. Yeah, it's quite similar. And you have, it's I think it's kind of difficult to find here. Where are you from? It's USA.
I'm in Orlando. Orlando. So
Orlando?
we have a large Brazilian population here.
Yeah, and so it's easy to find this kind of the powder, manioca powder, because it's the main ingredient for doing tapioca.
Oh, interesting. Okay, cool. Yeah, my professor is from Curitiba, and he was like Anderson Silva's coach and a bunch of guys over there, but now he's my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu professor.
Nice, nice. Curitiba is a city more from the south. It's quite interesting because we have even accents, different accents for when speaking here. Because the distance, but we here in Northeast we have this kind of different culture, this kind of, for example, tapioca. We have a different scale of music.
Really?
For example, I'm gonna show here in this drop the tuning. For example, we have this sonor sound that it's mix of the B flat, no, the 5 flat. I don't remember the theoretical name, but it's like this.
Wow, that's cool. There's almost like a Middle Eastern tone in there for a second on the way up.
Yeah. It's interesting because I'm talking a lot of culture and stuff. It's interesting because here in Northeast, this kind of song, is, as you said, it's a mixture of Middle Eastern culture and medieval culture. So people, France, the studies and researchers, they needed to come here to learn a lot because some of the traditional music has lost, so they needed to bring back here to learn. The same happened in some German cultures, German communities here in Brazil, that German needed to come here to relearn a kind of dialect that was lost in Germany. It's really interesting how the cultures and different people it's integrated and mixing. They contribute to the Brazilian culture in general, because we have a lot of different people working together to make music, to make arts in general. It's quite I'm really proud of this. This thing, how the country was, the culture of the country was built. It's really great to have these different, cultures from everywhere.
Absolutely,
It's
yeah. I
really
feel like
cool.
that's even the backbone of like the Brazilian culture in general, like having Portuguese influence, African influence, and then all the other parts that started to come in, and then that was like the base foundation of Brazilian culture being like a melting pot, which I think is so cool that it keeps going from there even.
Yeah, when you said African culture, I remember one cool thing, because one thing I like to, let's go playing again. Sorry for that.
No,
like
I
to
love it,
play
man.
a lot.
I'm learning so much today. I feel like everyone's learning so much, and it's really cool because like we've been able to learn about the story of you
Nice.
in these stories interweave throughout the music, and that's what it's all about, man.
Yeah, I like to tell stories a lot. I like to search for curiosities and
That's so
stuff.
cool. That's what music does
This
for
kind
all
of-
of us.
Yeah, this, yeah, it's so nice. one thing when I've seen and Tuzin Ambazi playing, he does the thumb thing, and I've tried to do this, and
tried to.
couldn't.
I couldn't either.
Do like it. And it's very impossible to do like his styles. It's very difficult. But I try to imagine how it does. It would sound, if it's mixed to Brazilian things. So I adapted some points to a groove that's called coco. It's Afro-Brazilian style from here, from Alagoas, and their sound still loud. So just an explanation before playing. It's playing with a groove and also make the bass line, walk.
Damn, that's cool.
Something like that.
So
and
cool.
It's come from Afro-Brazilian culture, this groove, so they walk in bass, so I try to make something similar to Tosin Abazi, but instead of doing like him, because it's very impossible, I try to convert into a Brazilian thing, so I could play as well.
Man, that's freaking awesome. I love that. No, this is inspiring me. I'm learning a lot.
Thanks.
I'm learning a lot today myself. So this is
Thanks.
great.
Thanks, I really appreciate it. Coming from you, as I said, I listen a lot of. It's kind of funny to be here, chatting with you, a lot of crazy things, happen, and when I start seeing, it's like, this is not happening. It's kind of crazy,
Oh man, I mean, you're like I said, I'm learning so much from you today, like about who to listen to, what kind of stuff. Like I want to pick up my guitar and try to figure out like some fun chords like this. That's how this whole music thing. That's why we're going back to Brazil learning from Japan, Japan learning from Brazil. Like these conversations. That's what this is, and we're just passing the knowledge out so everyone can explore and learn. I always say one of the biggest things for me that I always push to everyone is they should travel. They should eat everywhere. They should listen to everything because we shouldn't just stay in one place. We should explore what else people have to offer. Explore the food, the art, the people. And what I realized, while we have all these different things that we can learn from that are interesting and unique, we find that we're so much more similar. We just all want to have fun in life and explore and have a good time.
Yeah,
And that's what music has taught me.
Yeah. When you were saying that you are learning a lot of, one other recommendation I just remember is acoustic guitar player that's called Yamandu Costa. It's YAMANDU
Awesome.
COSTA.
I think I've listened to some Yamandu Costa before. I think.
This
Like
guy's a beast.
flamenco player, or like plays on a flamenco guitar. Yeah.
Yeah, he plays a flamenco guitar. It's a seven string guitar.
Oh damn! I didn't know that.
Because it's another fun thing, because samba players, that is a style. It's older than samba. It's called choro. And the guys who played the rhythmic guitar, they needed to have the 7-string acoustic guitar that originally came from Russia. So some guys, when they came from Russia to Brazil, they brought the 7-string guitar, and the people who played samba at the time started to use this guitar, the 7-string guitar, to make bass lines when playing rhythmic chords and in the rhythmic guitars. So it's kind of traditional instrument for samba and choro is the 7-string acoustic guitar.
I need to get one of those.
It's really nice. I never tried one, but it sounds really amazing because the chords, it's so fat and powerful, and it's really impressive what the instrument can do.
That's so cool. I gotta get. I have like 9-string electrics, but I would love to get a 7-string acoustic. That would be really fantastic. Because so much Trivium stuff is in 7-string, and I just love playing these string instruments. That's why I got, like I was mentioning the Japanese instruments. I got a biwa, which I think biwa is 5 strings, but the bottom 2 are unison, and the rest make a power chord. And there's only like 3 or 4 frets. It's a very weird instrument. Then I got a shamisen and a koto, like the one that has, I think it's like 18 or 20 strings, but it's more like a harp. So I want to start trying to learn that stuff too. Yeah, it's...
Is that true that I think it's shamisen has something feature to, emulate a distorted guitar,
It does.
something like that?
It has this little peg that you can turn just to add buzz onto the bottom fret. The bottom string. So it adds this buzz. The shamisen's easy for guitar players, the left hand. The hard part is the bachi. The bachi is like this giant paint scraper looking thing that's like percussive and weird. The downstrokes are fine, upstrokes are really weird. So that's the next step.
This is really nice. I have, kind of this, different instruments, really inspired to make, different kind of music. Even you end up in metal stuff, you bring a lot of, influence for just you pick up a different instrument. It seems like your head started to think in a different way. Mm-hmm. It's really impressive.
Absolutely.
How our brains.
Yeah, it's so fun for that. And I have a cuisa as well. I love the cuisa. It's such a silly instrument.
I never seen this.
Oh, I might be saying it wrong. The cuica, the thing, the Brazilian instrument that sounds like the little animal.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Is that called a cuisa or cuica?
Cuica.
Cuica. Okay, cuica.
Yeah, cuica.
I have a cuica, and it's really funny. So for that video game, I was using the cuica on the soundtrack.
Yeah. I've never, realized how this instrument, works until I saw a TikTok video of the cuica player showing that it's, like
a washcloth.
Yeah, and he rubber into the metal piece that's inside of the instrument. It's really impressive because I started seeing how this the sounds made.
Yep. Man, that sounds just yeah, exactly. It's so cool. I think Brazilian music, like all the traditional styles, are so interesting. Like my friend also got me to check out like even something like Brazilian funk. Like I think Brazilian funk is one of the weirdest things in the world. He's like, yeah, it's like rap, but you have to make it sound really bad. But I found some of it very interesting. But of course, like even things like what's the big band style called? Like the I need to find the playlist. I forgot the name of it. Like it's like the huge band style. It's like damn, I can't remember.
As you said, funk. I have something here. I know I'm talking a lot because I really like playing and explain things.
It's like Grupo Revelação, like that style.
It's a samba group. It's in here we call pagode.
Pagode, that's the one. Pagode. That was the style name I was looking for.
But pagode, it's the origin of the word. Pagode, it was the place where samba was played. It's like the party. Let's go to a pagode to listen samba.
That's cool.
So, but there were a differentiation between pagode and samba because samba now stands for the samba enredo, that the one you hear in Carnival when you go to Rio de Janeiro, São Paulo. The one more energetic, and pagode now stands for the one more romantic, melodic, more softly.
It's got that big drum, like that large drum. I can't remember what that one's called.
Yeah. Where you are saying about funk, let me. Yeah. It's all good here.
Well, like the style that someone showed me, the style that someone showed me was like the Brazilian funk style. It's more like rap. It's just like, it's so super strange. Like I expected funk, but it was like rap.
Yeah, it's because it's quite funny because I know there is a funk style from James Brown. And this rhythmic guitar players, but the name is the same, but the style is completely different. The funk came from. I'm not a specialist, and I don't know if I'm talking shit, but the style, it's a mix from different, electronic genres, Mayan bass, um, other, electronic genres from 90s, specifically from the beginning of the 2000s as well. And then the guys added Brazilian, Afro-Brazilian, groove
Mm-hmm.
to the beat, So it's kind of, it's a now it's a newer style from Brazil, and it's kind of mixed things. I like to I was discovered when I saw what Tim Henson was doing with Hap, taking Hap to Hap music, hip hop to guitar. I started, why not to try to do the same thing with funk music?
Oh, really? Wow.
And let me
That's cool.
just adjust here. I think
It's like you took
Yeah,
the old
it's
you took the
something
old
I've
Ingve style
learned.
and changed it up.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. When I saw a video from Ingve, he was playing. I think it's something like a violin. Yeah, it's something
That's
like
so
that.
cool. That's amazing. I love that. It almost sounds like
Yeah,
Castlevania
yeah.
as well. It sounds like video game music at the same time.
Yeah, because this main from the theory stuff, main of this comes from harmonic minor scale. So there is this darker
Yeah.
mood.
Yeah, harmonic minor and natural minor, or melodic minor, they're two that I seem to always be writing Trivium stuff in.
Yeah, they sound you were evil. You were
Yeah, exactly.
This kind of vibe.
Yep, exactly. Man, freaking amazing. I can't believe how quickly time flew. It's been amazing talking to you, man. How can everyone follow you? What do you got going on? I saw you have some JTC stuff as well. Do you have instructionals? Let us know everything. Tell us everything.
So basically, all my social media, you can find me. Search for Liver Plate, LIVERPLATE, Liver Plate. You can find me on Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, and so on. And I also have the instructional videos from JTC and also School of Mac Rock from Thomas McRock.
Oh, cool. Yep.
As well. So that's it. You can find me on just search Liver Plate. Just to watch out there's a football team, Argentinian football team that's called River Plate. Sometimes people, make a mess. So Liver Plate with L, and just put guitar to the side, Liver Plate guitar. In Spotify, you can just type Liver Plate and you find me.
Why the name Liver Plate? Do you like liver?
Yeah, it's a funny story because when I was younger, I think about 3-4 years old, I had a nickname that's Liver. It's Oliver without O.
Oh, okay.
And when I saw the team, the narrator was saying the name of team, River Plate, I get confused with Liver Plate, and I started to think that the name of the team was honored in my name, so it became my new nickname. So people of my family started to call me Liver Plate because this confusion, because every time the narrator said River Plate, I run to TV, and because I thought the guy was calling me, but it was just the team.
Yeah.
So it's an old nickname for me.
That's awesome, man. Well, my friend, obrigado. That was freaking amazing. I learned so much. I want to play
Thanks.
guitar now. I want to try to mess around with those chords. Pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks.
Please stay in touch. And yeah, this was fantastic. So, obrigado, até mais.
Valeu, obrigado.
My fan. Great to see you, man. I'll talk to you soon. Friends, that was amazing. Oliver Christian, Kichi, talking for Fishman Presents. I know normally we talk about the origin story, but you can see the origin story was peppered in throughout the music, but just so much cool stuff. My mind is very inspired right now, and I can't wait to jam. Oliver Christian, obrigado, até mais.